So as we were saying before we go on break, we have areas of cybersecurity that affects us daily and in our way of lives. So we are looking at data loss prevention, the unified threat management, and incident response and governance and risk assessment. Basically, as a data loss prevention professional that you work in this sector of an organization, you are looking at a process to focus on not making employees or your customers to take away sensitive data out of the environment. Like grabbing your system, sending an unauthorized email, leaking data to the press or to the unscrupulous people or your competitors. You are doing that in line with the GDPR of people's data, and you're not only protecting people's data, you're protecting your organization from being sued, or you're also protecting everybody's reputation at the moment. So there is a lot of opportunity in this sector at the moment, as it's an emerging market at the moment. So if you are looking in coming into cybersecurity and you want to get more veg on it, here is one of the sector you can look towards, and you can make advantage of. Because I'll be sincere with you, um this sector, as of 2021 in Europe, they have limited professionals. They needed to hire professionals from South Africa to do more of their projects in Europe, especially United Kingdom. And I wish I know some of the projects. So they need a lot of people in this space, and they keep on recruiting for it. And it's one of the skills that is very, very valuable if you have it. And to some extent, it's an OEM-based solution whereby you need to work with different OEMs, and you need to get skilled with different OEMs, because different has different solutions that gives this, and you need to have the skill set. So you could be a data prevention officer, and you can also, and you need to understand the GDPR laws and the rest. Let's look at the unified management. Yeah, so you being a security engineer or infrastructure engineer, basically this is what you work with every day, whereby you have you have all your tools managed at one place, and whereby you get to know what's happening. You set policies for your organizations, and you attach it to your UTM, you attach it to your endpoint, you attach it to your AD or your workspace that you use at the moment, and you get you get that done, you get that sorted at the moment. And being a UTM engineer or a infrastructure engineer, you get to do you get to do a lot of things at the same time, and you get to have fast view of whatever happens in your organization, where there's loopholes, where you need to upgrade, where you need to isolate, and the rest. Is one of the roles that has been available for over 2 decades already, and however they keep still recruiting for it, because every organization becomes more bigger every day, and you can imagine banks having more than 500 branches and operation centers and the rest, and they have more than 5,000 employees. They need to watch what happens in their network, in their environment, what goes in, what comes out, and here is one of the roles you can look into towards to as a cybersecurity professional. Incident response is very common and is a very unique role in cybersecurity. It works for people. It works. Some organization ask this why some people do this as consultancy, whereby they come into organization when they are being hacked. They look at what happens, what happened. They isolate the case with the guidelines of NIST or ISO. So they might either use NIST or they use ISO. So basically, in the side of where we are in the Europe and in Africa, we use more of ISO. So with these guidelines, they isolate the threat. They try to make they try to do disaster recovery while they investigate what caused the threat, and one they give recommendations of what needs to be done. So basically, if you want to go into this role comes with a lot of documentation, like a lot of documentation, and you will need to do more of documenting what happens, and than getting your hands more dirty, because you'll be working with the guidelines of ISO and NIST. If the organization use NIST guidelines or use ISO guidelines, and you will be doing this for organizations. And while some organizations have some black box, whereby they do some of their testing themselves to see what is happening and use their incident responders to see how they could quickly get back the organization back online. And we have the governance and risk assessment also, which is the most common in cybersecurity at the moment. Wants to be everybody wants to be a GRC professional. Everybody wants that. Yeah, it's one of the more, because it comes with a lot of documentation also, whereby you assess the infrastructure of your organization, or if you are consulting, you assess and you check just also as in line with ISO or with NIST, and you get to make them follow the compliance of the country you are. Like in Europe and Nigeria, we have law for cybersecurity. There's a framework for the bank in that CBN dropped every year, and NIDA also dropped every year, whereby you need the organizations to follow, which they need to comply with. And it involves documentations also, and a lot of documents that needs to be worked on also. As a GRC professional, you'll be doing this also, and you'll be assessing the risk of your organization. So if you want to look into it, GRC is also is one of the roles you can look to work to. Yeah, the main call of you being a cybersecurity professional. I will be sincere with you. Being a cybersecurity professional, you need to first understand. Basically, you need to understand your networking properly. If you want to be infrastructure security professional, you need to understand networking properly, because if you don't understand, so you need to first learn networking, understand networking, then you can now move into understanding firewall, routers, and the prevention systems and the rest. If you are looking at moving into application security, you need to learn two things. You need to learn programming language, and I skipped Golang there. You need to understand Python and Golang very well. You need to understand Python and Golang, and the PowerShell and Batch and the rest. But you need to know that, and you also need to understand cloud security, because cloud security and even the CID, the CID also, and because the cloud security and programming language works and together in application security. So you need to understand this properly, so that when you are checking on the codes, or you are doing the software life cycle or the development life cycles, to know when you need to expire a code, or when you need to debug, or when you need to check some things and see where there is bugs and the rest, and give your recommendations to the dev teams. So you need to understand the code base properly, and also you need to understand how the hosting works on the instance they are using, if they are using the EFI tools, if they are using the VMs, if they are using the keys, if they are using the Elastic State, and if they are using the VM also. And basically, sorry, I don't know more about Google Cloud, so I won't refer to Google Cloud here. But however, you need to understand basically the Azure security. So, and like in Azure, Azure has a lot of things in Azure securities and the rest, which you could look in what's on, just like AWS also. And AWS partnered with one of the best security companies also that protects infrastructure also. So as an application security person, you need to know this. And also moving to an application security person also, and as also an infrastructure security person, you need to understand Windows Linux very, very well. Because when it comes to Windows, we'll be focusing on the Active Directory segment and the domain sector in the organization. When you're looking at the Linux, you're looking at the code base, you're looking at the critical infrastructures that needs to be there. And organization does this, some organizations do this regularly, the VATP. You need to understand testing. And before you could do that, you will need most OEM run their applications on software on Linux. So you need to understand that also. And you need to understand the encryption and the cryptography also. And also, oh, I didn't mention the forensic and data forensic also. So that's a part of things you need to understand. We have a lot, cybersecurity is a wide area, and there's a lot of things that we can talk about in cybersecurity. I don't know if I will have questions. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, basically when it comes to this, you need to be professional in everything you do. And I work with customers that use AWS and Azure. So I don't take my time. So I have not seen the need to understand Google infrastructure for now. So I focus more on Azure and AWS, where I have customers in, where I can advise on properly.
That's easy too. Yeah.
Okay. How would I put it? They are both secure. It depends. Just like OEMs will always say to you, the past platform was say to you, they only secure 30% for you. You have the 70% job to do by yourself by securing your application. So now there are tools on their platform you could use, while you could bring in a third-party security firms also to do that for you.
Yes, Mr. Olasunkanmi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that was a beautiful presentation. It was brilliant. I enjoyed it. Please, like when when you talk about Azure and AWS, do you think which do you think is more robust, like a more has a more better repository based on your experience in cloud field?
You want to put me on this spot?
Say that again.
You want to put me on this spot?
No. That's not. Rihanna, let me chat you up now. I need you to walk me to that. Let me message you in private, please. I respect that. I beg you. I agree. That's fine.
Can I chip in something about?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to answer your question, but I'm just trying to say generally about.
It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So you asked which is more robust or maybe better between AWS or Azure. I believe most times, when a project is using maybe AWS or Azure, I think most times it's largely depends on what the organization decides on. They are all great and fantastic and robust. They all are. But I just feel sometimes the this thing you guys are using might depend on what maybe the client wants to use, decides to use, or choose to use, or is familiar with, or maybe the price and all that. So
Okay. Let me put it this way. Adishola. Okay, so
yeah,
let's say we are looking at why am I using a Dell's laptop while are you using an HP laptop?
yeah,
And there's a Mac.
yeah.
So I won't mention I won't when I say there's a Mac is on its own, but everybody knows about HP and Mac, HP and Dell everything, which is AWS and Azure.
Yeah, but if you're talking about HP and Mac, you're talking about, I understand that yes, Mac has maybe fast processor and all that, it's fast, no lags. At the same time, we still have some normal laptops that maybe Lenovo or other brands that also have fast pace. My point is, you can as well still get the same quality for the Mac on another laptop, which might be more expensive or stuff.
Yeah, I agree. But well, actually, I said there is. Let's give an example. We have Azure and AWS, which is HP and Dell, and we have Mac on the platform, the service solution that is not competing with them, and it's one of the best.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Mr. Israel, let me give you a simple scenario about Nigeria banks. I'm not meant to change any one of them, but I will just give you a scenario about them. Yeah, I'm not mentioning name. But don't they do want to spend money on their fraud management solutions. They do want to. The Nigeria bank is ready at the last minute. I know of some that have used a lot of money because they do not want to do their fraud management. So ordinary email security, they don't want to do. When you meet the CISO, you do presentation, you meet the CTO, you meet the board, you do presentation for years. They will just pull the plug at the end of the day, and they will say, and the first question they will ask you is, they say when they get to the board asks them, why are they spending this money? Have they been attacked? Like they've been like, I know some banks, they will clearly tell you, and one of them was attacked some time ago, and they lost a lot of fortune. But it's a lot of things that could be mitigated, that could be stopped. But we have an attitude of not spending money on anything if there's no compliance involved. If there's a compliance involved, okay, if you don't have this, your license will be gone. You see Nigerian banks spending money on it. Immediately there's no compliance, they move on because they know there's no legal system that could sue them when customer money gets missing.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll just share my screen now. Um, can you see my screen? Okay. All right. So I'll also be discussing my own version of opportunities in cybersecurity. And the very first thing I want to um, talk about is to start from what it is. I know we've had a whole lot of definitions, a whole lot of background information about what cybersecurity is. But then I'll just show these bits. I won't stay too long on it. I'll give a scenario. Okay, so we have things that could be sensitive. It could be business information. It could be